Lamar LLC and Group designs, manufactures municipal solid waste processing plants. The purpose of this video is to show the whole recycling process and the equipment involved.
Reduce, reuse, recycle. It's a concept that's been around for decades, but the technology used in recycling today is anything but old school. In fact, if your recycling program allows you to throw paper, plastic, glass, and metal together into one cart, then you're already using a cutting-edge process called single-stream recycling. The separation process starts when the truck arrives at the MRF. The exact process varies at each MRF, but each efficiently separates recycled materials so they can economically be remade into new products. In this case, the materials are first carried along a conveyor belt to a V-screen separator. The V-screen is made up of a series of fast-moving rotators that separate out the newspaper, cardboard, and other paper items, allowing metal, plastic, and glass to fall through to the next belt. Once separated, the paper is bundled and prepared for reprocessing. The remaining materials carry on toward a two-stage metal recovery system. First, a series of super heavy-duty magnets attract items made of ferrous metals, such as iron, tin, and steel, away from the belt and into an area where they can be packaged for a metal mill or smelter. Since aluminum isn't magnetic, it continues along with the other items toward an eddy current rotor. Eddy currents create strong fields of energy around non-magnetic metals, causing the aluminum objects to shoot away from the rotor and into a collection area for bundling. Plastic and glass items continue on the belt to an optical scanning system that recognizes the plastic items and moves them away with directed blasts of air. The plastic materials are blown off of the belt, leaving the heavier glass to continue on. Now at the end of the conveyor belt, the glass falls into a final container.
First lifts off large pieces of cardboard and sends them to be baled, while a second screen removes newspaper from the stream and onto a sorting area where any undesired materials are removed before the newspaper is baled. Smaller pieces of paper and cardboard and other materials drop through the screens and move on through the facility. This V-screen separator is their next stop. It removes small pieces of flat cardboard and paper for manual processing. Heavier materials and three-dimensional objects, like cans and bottles, are sent to another sorting area where any remaining fibers are removed. By now, most of the material remaining in the stream has been reduced to plastic containers, glass, and metals. They pass through this machine, known as a magnetized trommel. This is a large rotating drum sieve that allows small pieces of broken glass, bottle caps, and straws to pass through its perforated sides, while magnets at the end of the drum pull steel containers from the stream. All these materials are then conveyed to separate storage bins. Material exiting the machine enters the classifier that uses jets of air to separate plastic containers from paper. After excess paper is removed, the material falls onto the accelerator belt of the optical sorter. The optical sorter uses an infrared sensor to detect PET, such as plastic water in pop bottles, and polycoat containers, such as milk cartons and juice boxes. Once detected, an air gun pops the PET items up and the polycoat containers like detergent jugs, water bottles, and margarine tubs, as well as juice boxes. In the final sorting stage, the last of the material passes through an eddy current. This literally pops aluminum pieces from the conveyor and sends them off to dedicated...
After the bundles of paper make their way to the mill, they're loaded into a de-inker. This machine separates ink from the newspaper fibers through a chemical washing process, literally lifting the type off the paper. The rinsed waste paper is then mixed with water and solvents and reduced to a mixture called pulp slurry. This takes place in a giant blender called a pulper. The newly formed pulp mix moves on to a washing machine that dilutes it with water and then spins it at high speeds, removing small and large contaminants like wood, plastic, rocks, string, and glue. The clean pulp then continues on to get pressed. Pressing removes water and any remaining ink. By the time it gets to this point, it's solid enough to be fed through steam-heated rollers that flatten it into continuous rolls of paper. Unlike other materials, paper degrades each time it is recycled, so it isn't always used to make new paper. Some of it is used to create insulation, office products, and even toilet paper and paper towels. When recycled plastic first arrives at a reclaimer, it needs to be mechanically separated based on what type of plastic it is. Each type of plastic is designated with a number ranging from 1 to 7. To learn more about the different types of plastic, simply click on the Learn More icon. For now, we'll follow the most common type of recycled plastic, type number 1, or PET, which is used to make items like soda and water bottles. Once the plastic has been sorted at the reclaimer, each type is fed into a grinder and churned into plastic flakes. In some cases, the flakes can simply be cleaned and then made into new products. Or, as seen here, the ground-up flakes can be further reprocessed for use. Once they're squeaky clean, they're placed in a furnace, melted, and further broken down to their individual elements. The resulting plastic polymer mixture can then be reformed into new products, such as t-shirts and baseball caps, plastic lumber for backyard furniture, and soda bottles.